I will do it from here instead of going to the dais. We are looking forward to the words in a fireside chat format from a great visionary. I must say that there are very few times that we feel excitement to have someone at our university who is driving global change, global thinking to the degree that Mr. John Fallon is doing with the Pearson Group. If you want to see, dear students and younger faculty members, what the future will look like for education, then try to peer into the mind of Mr. John Fallon. There's one more thing that struck me about him, which is something that we try to imbibe in our Amity students also, which is that he has been with Pearson since 1997. The loyalty and integrity to be with one group and see through different levels of hierarchy, different geographic responsibilities, and then rising right to the top where you take the leadership mantle and say that I will take this organization to new frontiers and new culture and new thoughts. I think that is something tremendous, and my dear students, I think each one of you should learn from this, that when you work at an organization, you can think that you own it in a way that if you're there in the longer term, then you can bring real change. Pearson, as you have heard from Pooja, is an incredible organization. It is a truly global organization. And I was thinking that as we look at the world today, and we imagine what the future could look like, what is changing? There's so much change in the world. We are seeing political turmoil, we're seeing technological change, we're seeing shifts in consumer behavior, everything is changing. What is it that will bind many of the people around the world? And I feel that Pearson, under the leadership of Mr. Fallon, is addressing a number of these points. One is the content. What actually are you studying? And how are you absorbing that content? So the drive from textbooks to digital is changing so fast. I draw the analogy between that and what is happening in television consumption. So let me ask my students, how many of you in the last 1 month have watched some streaming video, either Netflix or Amazon or Hotstar? Who here, raise your hand, who here is watching? Yeah, so I think just even 1 year ago, the number may have been half that. So how we are interacting with technology to absorb content generally is changing overnight, and education is no different. And therefore, as all of you know, we at Amity are working very hard on reimagining education ourselves. Amity is one of the largest education groups in Asia, but now with a global footprint, we are dreaming of a tomorrow where every one of our students has an experience which is blended learning, which is combining online education. Already many of your lectures are recorded and put online. All of your content is also online. The way you interact with your faculty members and peers is online. So how do you create that seamless technological experience, which is combining best of class content, but also with the best in class pedagogical experience, utilizing technology as a catalyst and as an enabler? And that is one thing that we are pushing, not only from the perspective of online education, which is providing education throughout India and throughout the world. As many of you know, we are in 42 African countries through satellite technology and online technology, providing education to so many students around the world, but also within the universities, that how do you modify the experience of the student within the bricks and mortar campus to make it really a technological experience, which happens to be in bricks and mortar. And many of the online people are here. Avinashi, great, and all of you are working very hard to enable this. We are so proud of that. And I'll share with you, Mr. Fallon, that when Boris Johnson was at this university, he spent more than 6 hours here with us, and we took him to a broadcast studio at one of our centers, and we connected him to students in 18 African countries. And if I may use the words, it blew his mind. Because he said, when I woke up this morning, I never thought I would be in New Delhi. addressing students in 18 African countries, and he gave a very impassioned talk to the African students about the merits of visiting and studying in the UK, and he was a great ambassador, and now, of course, the Prime Minister, but it was an example of how technology can be transformative, not only for education, but for person-to-person interaction. So, Mr. Fallon, we welcome you. We feel that with Amity and Pearson, there are so many natural points of collaboration and cooperation. We are so proud that today we are signing a agreement that with the Pearson Group, Amity will be exploring a number of avenues that we can work together on and help transform the world together for the better. But also I must say that after meeting you, Mr. Fallon, our ideas have become much broader. Because wherever we are beginning, I think there are probably 10x, if not more, areas that we can think more broadly, and in the short walk from the lounge to here, you have touched upon 2 or 3 points that would be very much worth exploring, and you will find that in Amity, there is a group here founded by a very visionary, innovative entrepreneur, Dr. Ashok Chauhan, our founder-president, who sends his regards to you, who from day one has said that Amity has to do things differently. We have to imbibe the best from the West and combine it with traditional Indian strengths and values, and that is really what Amity is based on. And we also welcome Mr. Vikas Singh, the Managing Director, looking after so many of the operations here in India and the Asian region, and also Varun Dhamija. Where are you, Varun? Yes, Varun, nice that you're here. I had met Varun many years ago at an airport, and we were running and talking education. And Mr. Jain is here. So Mr. Jain from PPP, we welcome you, and nice that you are also here, also a partner to the Pearson Group. Mr. Abhay Chauhan is one of our trustees, one of the very dynamic young people driving Amity forward, working also on a number of digital initiatives, and he will be signing today the MOU with Pearson, with the partners here. So with these brief words, Mr. Fallon, wonderful that you're here. We welcome you, and we look forward to a very bright future together.
So on that, maybe I could ask you a question. What advice would you have for us? What would you like to see us doing in India? What do you see as the big challenges of India? This is a reverse fireside chat. You notice what I did then, but I hope you don't mind me asking, Dr. Chauhan.
I thought I was going to relax, but okay, Ms. Fallon, you put me on the spot. I think, Pallaviji, your question was a good one, wonderfully answered by Mr. Fallon, and just in 10-15 minutes of interacting with Mr. Fallon earlier, I'll tell my students, I could see so many things Pearson is focusing on that will have a tremendous impact on the world, global education. So at the moment, 60% of Pearson top line may be coming from the US, but I think in times to come, I think all of Asia will also be transformed by a lot of what Pearson is doing. And a few things that I think that India can benefit from. We need to have a model in our country where people have the opportunity for more individualized, customized study pathways, where every student is being given the chance to study at their own pace, look at areas of interest of their own, adaptive learning, as you mentioned, to make sure that inherently in the system, the strengths and weaknesses are picked up and reinforced. Because when you have so many people, there can be the potential of looking at it like a factory, that you're putting, cohorts of students through, studying the same thing, trying to do the same thing for everyone. And I think that is where the problem can occur. And we at Amity are trying to work on things like flexible credit systems, choice-based credit systems, major and minor degrees, non-credit courses, project work, many things that choosing different foreign languages, study abroad options, where really you have a menu or an option, and you can pick and choose and customize your own experience. And more technology will be a part of that. So I think for a country like India, when you look at the future, when you have more than 1 billion people, then unless you are working with technology to individualize education, it will not be the best possible experience and the best possible outcome for our students, which I think we both as groups are very much committed to.